The Strange Question. The space explorer walked alone under the quiet night sky of a small alien village. He had traveled across many worlds, fought many dangers, and met many strange creatures. Yet nothing in his life had prepared him for the words he was about to hear. A little girl with big glowing eyes stood in front of him. She looked no older than 8 years old. Her clothes were torn, her shoes broken, and her face was tired. But her voice was soft, almost innocent. "Are you lonely?" she asked. The explorer froze. He had been asked many questions in his life, questions about trade, about war, about survival, but never this. Before he could answer, the girl added, something that made his heart beat faster. "Then marry my mom," she said. "She's kindest." The explorer stared at her, not knowing if he should laugh or be afraid. A stranger asking him to marry her mother? In a strange village he had just arrived in, something was not right here. But the girl's eyes were serious. She was not joking. She was not playing. She looked at him with hope, like his answer might decide her future. The night wind moved between the broken houses of the village. Most doors were closed, most windows shut. He noticed the silence. No one came outside. It was as if the whole village wanted to stay hidden from him. Why would you say this to me?" he finally asked. The little girl held her small hands together and whispered, "Because you look lonely. And my mom, she is lonely too." The words cut deep into his chest. Loneliness. He knew that pain too well. He had traveled the stars, alone for years, never staying long in one place, never calling anywhere home. Maybe that was why her question shook him. Still, something was strange. Why would a child want a stranger for her mother's husband? The explorer bent down so he could look into her glowing eyes. "Where is your mother?" he asked. The girl smiled for the first time. "Come, I'll show you." She held his hand and pulled him through the quiet streets. Her grip was small but strong, like she did not want to let go. As they walked, he noticed the villagers peeking through cracks in their doors. Their eyes were full of fear, not of him, but of the girl. They whispered in low voices. Some even crossed their hands over their chests like they were protecting themselves from evil. The explorer felt a chill run through his body. Why were they afraid of this small child? The girl led him to the edge of the village, where a small broken house stood alone. Its walls were cracked, its roof half fallen, but a warm light glowed from inside. "This is my home," she said softly. The door opened, and there she was. The mother. She stepped out slowly, holding a lantern in her hand. The light revealed her face. Tired but beautiful, strong but gentle. Her eyes were kind, just as her daughter said, but behind them was deep sadness, a sadness heavy like an ocean. The explorer felt his chest tighten. She looked almost human, but not completely. Her hair shone faintly like silver threads, and her skin carried a glow that was not of earth. She was something else, something between human and alien. The mother's eyes met his. For a long moment, silence filled the air. Then she spoke in a soft voice. "Traveler," she said. "Why are you here?" The explorer opened his mouth to speak, but the little girl answered first. "Mom," she said quickly. "He is lonely. He can stay with us." The mother's face turned pale. Her hands shook slightly and the lantern flickered. She looked at her daughter with fear and love mixed together. "Child, you must not say such things," she whispered. The explorer felt the weight of her words. It was not just a mother scolding her daughter. It was something more, something dangerous hidden behind them. He realized then that this family was not ordinary. Something about them carried a secret, and the villagers knew it. That was why they stayed away. That was why they whispered. The little girl tugged at his hand again. "Please," she begged, "don't leave us." The explorer felt torn. He wanted to ask questions. Who was this woman? Why was her daughter so desperate? What danger was hidden here? But before he could speak, the ground trembled softly beneath his feet. A strange light flickered in the far-off hills as if something beyond the village had awakened. The mother's face grew pale. She whispered something he could barely hear. "They have found us." The explorer's heart began to race. Who had found them? And why did it feel like he had just stepped into something far greater than himself? The night air grew colder. The silence of the village deepened. And the explorer knew. His life had just changed forever. All because of one strange question from a little girl. "Are you lonely? Then marry my mom, she's kindest." The kindest mother. The explorer could not stop thinking about the mother's face. Her silver hair, her glowing skin, her sad but gentle eyes. There was something different about her, something that made him curious, but also cautious. The little girl pulled him inside the small broken house. The walls were cracked, the furniture was old, yet the home felt warm. A small fire burned in the corner, and the smell of herbs filled the air. "Sit, traveler," the mother said softly, placing a clay cup in front of him. The liquid inside glowed faintly blue, warm like sunlight. "It will keep the cold away." Her voice was calm, soothing. The explorer felt a strange peace around her, as if the storms of his lonely life were quieting down. He sipped the drink. Sweet, with a taste he had never known. The little girl sat beside her mother, her small hands holding tightly to the woman's dress. She kept looking at the explorer with hope in her glowing eyes, as if she believed he could change their lives. But the mother looked different. Her smile was soft, but her eyes carried fear. "Why are you here?" she asked again, her voice quieter this time. The explorer looked into the fire. "I am a wanderer," he said. "I go from world to world. I do not stay anywhere." The little girl spoke quickly, almost cutting him off. "But now you can stay here." The mother touched her daughter's hair gently, but her face turned pale. "Child, do not speak such words." The explorer noticed her hands trembling. She was hiding something. He leaned forward. "Why does your daughter want me to stay? Why would she ask a stranger to marry her mother?" The room grew silent. The mother lowered her eyes. The little girl looked away, biting her lip. Finally, the woman whispered, "Because no one in this village will come near us." The explorer frowned. "Why? You are kind. Your daughter is only a child. Why would they avoid you?" The mother closed her eyes for a moment. Her voice shook when she answered, "They think we are cursed." The word hung heavy in the air. The explorer felt his skin prickle. "Cursed?" The little girl spoke softly. "They don't like me. They say I'm not normal." The explorer looked at her closely. Yes, her eyes glowed like twin stars. Her small fingers shimmered faintly as if energy lived inside her veins. She was not just human. Her father was not from this world, the mother said, her voice breaking. "He came from the stars. He loved me, and he gave me this child. But when he was gone, the village turned against us." The explorer felt his chest tighten. He had seen many alien worlds, many human colonies, but he knew one truth. People always feared what was different. "And so," the mother continued, "they call her dangerous. They say she brings bad luck. They do not speak to us. They do not help us. We live alone." The explorer finally understood why the little girl had asked him that strange question. She was lonely. Her mother was lonely, and she wanted someone, anyone, who would not abandon them. But still, something was hidden. The explorer looked into the mother's eyes. "Is that all?" he asked. "Or is there something more?" Her face turned pale again. She did not answer. The fire crackled. The night outside grew colder. The explorer could hear faint whispers in the wind. At first he thought it was just the sound of air moving through broken walls, but then he realized, no, these were voices. They were coming from outside. He stood quickly and moved to the window. Shadows passed through the streets. Figures moved in the darkness. Villagers watching the house, their faces were fearful, their eyes sharp. "Why are they watching you?" he whispered. The mother's hand shook as she put out the fire. The room fell into darkness. "They do not only fear us," she said softly. "They fear what follows us." The explorer turned sharply. "What do you mean?" "What follows you?" The little girl suddenly hugged her mother tightly, her glowing eyes wide with fear. "They come at night," she whispered. The explorer's blood ran cold. "Who comes?" Before the mother could answer, the ground shook. A low rumble spread through the village. The blue light in the hills returned, brighter this time, shining like a wound in the earth. The villagers outside screamed and ran back to their homes, slamming doors shut, locking windows. The mother grabbed her daughter's hand. Her calm mask was gone. Her eyes were full of dread. "They have found us again," she whispered. The explorer's heart pounded. He had no idea who they were, but the fear in her voice told him enough. Whoever they were powerful, dangerous, and they wanted the girl. He looked at the mother and child standing in the dark, alone, shunned by their village, hunted by something from beyond, and he realized his lonely wandering was over. He had just stepped into a fight he could not walk away from. The night outside roared with strange lights. The danger was only beginning. The arrival. The night sky split open with a deep, echoing roar. The explorer lifted his eyes and saw it. A massive ship slowly descending from the darkness above the hills. Its surface shimmered like black glass, reflecting the blue glow that pulsed from its own engines. The air grew heavy, pressing down on the village like an invisible weight. Children screamed from inside locked houses. Doors rattled, windows shook. The villagers hid deeper in their homes, too afraid to even whisper. The mother held her daughter close. The child's small hands glowed brighter, reacting to the ship's presence. Her breathing grew fast and uneven. "They've found us," the mother whispered again, her voice trembling. The explorer stepped outside, his weapon at his side, his eyes locked on the sky. He had seen many ships in his travels, but none like this. It was not just a vessel, it was a predator. Its shadow covered the entire village, drowning it in fear. A beam of pale light cut through the darkness, striking the center of the village. The ground burned where it touched. From inside the light, a cold metallic voice rang out. "Deliver the child, or perish." The little girl hid her face against her mother, her glowing eyes shut tight. The explorer clenched his fists. He looked around. No villager came forward to help. They were all praying behind their doors, hoping the storm would pass over them. He stepped closer to the mother. "They want her, but why call her the key?" The mother's face was pale. "Because she is more than a child. Her father told me once she carries something inside her. A power he called the bond of worlds, a bridge between species." The explorer's heart raced. A child who could unite races, or destroy them if her power was used wrongly. The metallic voice spoke again, colder this time. "You cannot hide her. She belongs to us." The beam of light widened. From the burning, circle-stepped figures, tall, thin, and sharp as shadows. Their bodies were covered in black armor that shimmered like oil. Their eyes glowed blue, the same as the light in the hills. The girl whimpered, clutching her mother's hand. The mother pulled her close, shielding her with her own body. The explorer stepped forward, raising his weapon. "If you want her, you'll have to go through me." The tallest figure paused, its head tilted unnaturally, studying him like a curious insect. Then its voice cut through the silence. "You are human, a wanderer. This is not your fight." The explorer's grip tightened. His voice was steady. "It is now." The air grew colder. The villagers watching from their windows whispered in shock. They had never seen anyone stand against the hunters before. The tallest figure raised a hand. The blue light pulsed stronger. The ground shook. "Foolish human," it said. "She is the key. She will open the path. Her blood belongs to us." The girl gasped and buried her face in her mother's dress. The explorer's heart pounded. The path? What was that? A weapon? A gateway? He didn't know. But he knew one thing. If these creatures wanted her, it could not be for good. The hunters took another step forward. Their shadows stretched across the village ground. Their presence was suffocating. The explorer raised his weapon. "Stay behind me," he said to the mother and child. The mother's voice was desperate. "You can't fight them alone. They are stronger than any human." The explorer glanced at her, his jaw tight. "Then it's a good thing I'm not just any human." The tallest figure let out a sound that was half laugh, half hiss. Then it moved its hand sharply. The night exploded with blue fire. The ground cracked. The houses shook. Villagers screamed in terror. The hunters advanced. The explorer fired his weapon. A beam of red light shot through the air, striking one of the hunters in the chest. It staggered, but did not fall. Instead, it straightened itself and hissed loudly, the sound sharp like metal grinding. The little girl cried out. Her small hands glowed brighter, brighter than ever before. Suddenly, a wave of light burst out of her, forming a shield around herself and her mother. The hunters stopped, watching carefully. Their leader tilted its head again. Yes, the key awakens. The mother held her daughter tightly, fear in her eyes. "Stop, child. Don't use it. It will draw them closer." But the girl could not control it. The shield of light pulsed, shaking the ground. The hunters smiled with cruel delight. The explorer stood between them and the family, sweat running down his face. He had fought many battles, but this was different. These were not simple enemies. They were hunters of bloodlines, seekers of power, and the girl was the prize. The tallest figure raised its hand again. "Give her to us, human, or this village will burn." The explorer looked at the mother, then at the child. His lonely wandering had led him here, to this cursed village, to this hunted family. He could turn back now, save himself. But something deep inside him whispered no. He could not. He raised his weapon higher, his voice steady and strong. "You'll have to burn me first," the hunters hissed, their blue eyes glowing brighter. The ship above rumbled, ready to unleash its wrath. The villagers trembled inside, their homes knowing their fates hung in the balance. And in the silence before the storm, the explorer realized something. His life was no longer his own. It belonged to the child, to her mother, to the battle that had just begun. The escape. The night cracked open with fire and screams. The hunter ship roared above, shaking the ground with its engines. Blue light flooded the village streets, burning holes into the stone. The tall armored hunters advanced, their glowing eyes locked on the mother and her child. The explorer's weapon fired again and again, beams of red cutting through the darkness. One hunter fell, its armor shattered, but two more took its place. The little girl's shield of light pulsed wildly, protecting her and her mother from the blue fire, but each pulse drained her. Her small body trembled, her face pale. The mother held her close, whispering, "Enough, child, save your strength." The explorer saw it. If they stayed, they would all die. He turned quickly, grabbing the mother's arm. "We need to run," he said firmly. The mother hesitated, her eyes full of fear. "They will follow us." "Better to run than to burn," he answered. Without waiting, he pushed open the back door of the small house. The three of them slipped into the shadows of the forest that stood beyond the village. Behind them, the hunters roared. The ship's searchlight swept across the streets. Houses cracked and burned. Villagers screamed inside their homes but did not come out. No one helped. The explorer led the way, his weapon ready, his heart pounding. The forest was thick, dark, alive with the sound of strange insects. The ground was wet, the air cold. Every step crunched under their feet, too loud, too dangerous. The little girl clung to her mother's hand. Her glowing eyes lit the dark path faintly, like twin lanterns. "They'll see us," the explorer muttered. "Cover her eyes." The mother wrapped the girl's face with part of her torn cloak, dimming the light. From behind came the sound of pursuit. Branches snapped, leaves rustled. The hunters were following. The explorer knew they could not outrun the ship. He needed to think fast. He stopped at a cluster of broken stone ruins hidden among the trees. The walls were old, cracked, covered in moss. He motioned for them to hide. They crouched inside the ruins. The mother held her daughter close. The explorer aimed his weapon at the forest, listening. The night grew silent again, too silent. Even the insects stopped. Then came the sound, a low hum, metallic and sharp. The hunters were near. The little girl trembled. Her voice was a whisper. "They always find me." The explorer turned to her. "Why? How do they know where you are?" Her glowing eyes filled with tears. "Because of this." She opened her small hands. In her palm, light flickered like a living star. It pulsed softly, sending ripples into the air. The explorer's chest tightened. "A beacon," he whispered. The mother's face was pale. "Her father warned me. Her blood calls to them. No matter where we go, they will follow." The explorer cursed under his breath. So escape was not enough. They needed to fight, or hide the girl's power. The forest shook as the hunters moved closer. Blue light cut through the trees. The explorer turned to the mother. "Take her deeper, into the forest. I'll distract them." The mother's eyes widened. "No, you'll die." He shook his head. "Better me than both of you." But before he could move, the little girl grabbed his arm. Her small, glowing fingers burned like fire against his skin. "No," she said firmly, her child's voice filled with sudden strength. "You can't fight them alone. I'll help you." Her glow spread, brighter, stronger than before. The ruins around them shook. Small stones lifted into the air. The mother gasped. "No, stop. You'll lose control." The girl's eyes blazed like stars. The energy inside her spilled out, forming a wave of light that pushed through the ruins. Trees bent. The hunters in the forest stumbled backward. The explorer shielded his eyes. He felt the raw power, wild, untamed, dangerous. When the light faded, the girl collapsed into her mother's arms, unconscious. The mother held her tightly, tears in her eyes. "She cannot control it," she whispered, "and every time she uses it, they will come faster." The explorer's jaw tightened. He looked out at the hunters regrouping in the distance. Their leader stepped forward, its voice cutting through the night. "Run, little Key. Run until the stars burn out. We will always find you." The explorer raised his weapon again, his eyes burning with determination. He looked at the mother. "We can't keep running forever. But tonight, we live." He grabbed her arm, pulling her to her feet. Together, carrying the unconscious child, they slipped deeper into the dark forest. Behind them, the hunters followed. The ship's engines roared above the trees, tearing through the night sky. The escape had begun, but the chase was only starting, and the explorer knew. To protect this child, he would have to face not just hunters, not just aliens, but the truth of what she really was. The secret of the village. The ground trembled again, and the explorer felt dust falling from the cracked roof of the small house. Outside, the strange blue glow in the hills grew brighter. It pulsed like a heartbeat, each wave shaking the village a little more. The little girl clung to her mother. "They're coming again, aren't they?" she whispered. The mother hushed her, pulling her close. But her pale face told the truth. Yes, something was coming. Something that had come before. The explorer stepped closer to the window. The streets were empty now. Every villager had run inside, hiding like scared animals. Only shadows of frightened faces peeked through small cracks in wooden shutters. "They fear you," the explorer said quietly. "But it is not just you they fear, is it? It's whoever follows you." The mother did not answer. She sat her daughter down and knelt by her side, stroking her glowing hair. Her hands trembled. The explorer turned sharply. "You must tell me the truth. Who are they? Why are they after you and your child?" For a long moment the woman said nothing. The only sound was the crackling of broken wood as the old house shook. Finally she whispered, "Because of her father." The explorer narrowed his eyes. He was not human, she said. He came from the stars, his people were powerful and hunted. The explorer's chest tightened. He had traveled the stars, met many races. Some were peaceful, some cruel. He knew that when a people were hunted, it meant war or secrets. He was kind, she continued. He saved this village once, many years ago. But when he chose to stay with me, his enemies found him, they killed him. The little girl's eyes filled with tears. She buried her face in her mother's dress. The explorer felt anger rise in him. And now they want the child? The mother nodded slowly. She is the last of his blood. They call her the key. The word echoed in the explorer's mind. The key. To what? He asked. The woman shook her head. I do not know. But they will not stop until they have her. The explorer looked at the girl. Her small hands glowed faintly in the dark as if starlight lived inside her. She looked back at him with innocent fear. She was just a child. Yet to others, she was something more. A loud crack split the silence. The villagers screamed from inside their homes. The explorer rushed to the door and pulled it open. In the distance on the hills, tall figures appeared against the glowing light. Their shapes were long, thin, and inhuman. Their movements were too smooth, too sharp. Even from far away, he felt their presence, cold and hungry. The girl gasped and hid behind her mother. They're here, she whispered. The explorer turned back to the woman. If they come for her, why do the villagers blame you? The mother's eyes filled with tears. Because they believe her existence brings the danger. They think if we are gone, the hunters will leave. The explorer clenched his fists. He had seen fear twist good people into cruel ones. Now he understood why no one spoke to them, why no one helped them. To the villagers, mother and daughter were not victims. They were the curse itself. Do you hate them? He asked quietly. The woman shook her head. No. They are afraid. Fear blinds people. I only wish to protect my daughter. The explorer stared at her. Despite her suffering, her kindness did not break. No wonder the little girl had called her the kindest. Outside, the glowing figures began moving toward the village. Their steps were slow but heavy, each one making the ground tremble. The blue light followed them, spreading like a storm. The explorer's heart raced. He turned to the mother. We must leave, now. The woman's face was pale. There is nowhere to go. They will follow. The girl tugged at his hand suddenly. You're not like the others. Please, don't leave us. The explorer looked at her, then at her mother. His life had been filled with lonely travels, empty nights, and endless wandering. But now he had something to protect. He knelt down in front of the girl. I won't leave, he said firmly. I'll stand with you. Her glowing eyes filled with tears, but also hope. The mother's lips trembled. She wanted to protest, to tell him to run, but deep inside she was grateful. For years, no one had ever stood beside them. The ground shook harder. The creatures were closer now. From the corner of his eye, the explorer saw villagers peeking out, praying that the danger would pass their doors. None of them would help. It was up to him. The explorer stood tall, his hand reaching for the weapon at his side. His lonely wandering had ended tonight. He was no longer just a traveler. He was the shield between a hunted child and the monsters that wanted her. The blue glow grew brighter, flooding the streets like water. The air turned cold and heavy. The mother pulled her daughter close. The explorer's voice was low but steady. Tell me one thing, he said to the mother. This key they call her. What if it's true? What if she really holds a power they want? The woman closed her eyes, tears falling down her cheeks. Then she must learn to control it. Before they do. The explorer gripped his weapon tightly. The secret of the village was no longer hidden. The danger was here, and tonight the battle for the child's future would begin. The truth of the girl. The forest was quiet again, but it was not peace. It was the heavy silence that came after danger, the kind that made the heart beat faster. The explorer moved carefully through the trees, carrying the unconscious girl in his arms. Her body was small, fragile, yet glowing faintly like a sleeping ember. The mother walked beside him, her silver hair tangled, her eyes full of worry. "We can't stop," the explorer whispered. "They're still following." The mother nodded, weakly. "Yes, but she needs rest. Using her power takes too much." They found a cave hidden behind a curtain of vines. The explorer pushed them aside and stepped inside. The air was damp and cool, but it was safe, at least for now. He laid the girl gently on the stone floor. The glow from her body lit the cave like a soft lantern. She looked peaceful, almost angelic. Yet the air around her trembled faintly, like the world itself reacted to her presence. The explorer sat back, his breathing heavy. "You must tell me everything. No more secrets. What is she? What is this power inside her?" The mother looked at her daughter for a long time before speaking. Her voice was low, almost afraid of her own words. "She is not just my child. She is a bridge. Her father told me before he died she carries the bond of worlds." The explorer frowned. "What does that mean?" The woman's hands trembled as she touched her daughter's glowing hair. "It means she is more than human, more than alien. She is both and something new. She can connect what others cannot. Species, minds, even worlds. That is why they call her the key." The words sank into the explorer like cold water. A bridge between species? The power to connect entire worlds? He had seen humans fight aliens, colonies break, wars tear planets apart. If this child truly had the power to unite, then she was not just special, she was dangerous. "Why do they want her?" he asked. The mother's face darkened. "Because whoever controls her can control everything she connects. They can use her to open the path." The explorer's voice grew sharp. "What is the path?" She shook her head. "I don't know. Her father never told me. But he said the path is not just a place. It is power itself. Something ancient, hidden between the stars." The explorer looked at the child again. Her small chest rose and fell slowly. She looked so innocent, so fragile. Yet inside her was a force that armies would kill for. The cave rumbled faintly. A stone fell from the ceiling. The mother froze. "They're getting closer again," she whispered. The explorer cursed under his breath. "We can't keep running, forever." The girl stirred in her sleep. Her lips moved, whispering words too soft to hear. The glow around her grew brighter for a moment, then dimmed. The explorer leaned closer. "She's dreaming." The mother shook her head slowly. "No, she's remembering." The explorer frowned. "Remembering what?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Her father's blood carries memory. When she sleeps, she sometimes sees things she should not know. Stars, battles, voices. She remembers the war he never wanted her to inherit." The cave grew colder. The explorer felt a chill run down his spine. A child carrying not just blood, but memory. A past that was not her own. Suddenly, the girl opened her eyes. They glowed brighter than ever before, like two burning suns. The explorer stepped back in shock. The child's voice was not her own. It was deeper, stronger, echoing with something ancient. "They will not stop," she said. "They will hunt until the path is opened. And when it is, the stars will burn." The mother gasped, covering her mouth. "It's happening again?" The explorer's heart pounded. "What is this?" The girl sat up slowly, though her body was weak. Her glowing eyes stared right at him. "You are not meant to run," she said in that strange, echoing voice. "You are meant to stand. You are chosen to guard the key." The words struck him like lightning. He had never believed in destiny. He was just a wanderer, a traveler without a home. Yet now this child, half human, half alien, was telling him he was chosen. The glow in her eyes flickered, then dimmed. Her body collapsed back into her mother's arms. She was unconscious. Again, the mother wept softly, rocking her child. "Every time this happens, it takes more from her. If she does not learn control, it will kill her. The explorer's jaw tightened. He had faced battles, storms, even death. But this was different. This was something far bigger than himself. Looked out toward the forest where the faint hum of the ship still echoed in the distance. The hunters were searching. The village had abandoned them. The stars themselves seemed ready to tear this child apart. And yet, he could not walk away. He looked back at the mother and child. "Then we teach her," he said firmly. "We help her control it. If she really is the key, then she must learn to unlock herself before they do." The mother lifted her tear-filled eyes. "Can you protect her from all of them? From what's coming?" The explorer gripped his weapon tightly. His voice was steady. "I don't know, but I will die trying." The cave fell silent again. The child glowed faintly, her small body resting against her mother. Outside, the hunters drew closer, their cold voices echoing through the night. The truth of the girl was clear now. She was no ordinary child. She was the bridge between worlds, the key to something far greater, and the explorer knew his lonely wandering had ended. His destiny had just begun. The final choice. The night sky burned with blue light as the hunter ship descended lower, its engines rumbling like thunder across the forest. The explorer stood at the mouth of the cave, his weapon gripped tight. Behind him, the mother held her child close. The girl's faint glow lit the stone walls, her small body trembling, her breath weak. The hunters were close now. Their voices echoed through the trees, sharp and metallic. "Key, key, key." Each call was like a drumbeat drawing nearer. The explorer's heart pounded, but his mind was steady. He had run enough. Tonight would not be another escape. Tonight would be a fight. He turned back to the mother. "If we keep running, they'll never stop. We end it here." Her silver eyes filled with fear. "You cannot fight them alone. Their leader will come. He is stronger than all the others." The explorer looked at her daughter. The girl stirred weakly, opening her glowing eyes. Her voice was soft, trembling. "They want me. If I go, will you be safe?" The mother wept. "No, you are my heart. Without you, I am nothing." The explorer knelt beside her. "Listen, little one. They don't want you. They want your power, but your power belongs to no one but you." Her small glowing hand reached out, touching his cheek. "Then help me." The forest exploded with blue fire. The trees shook, the ground split, and from the smoke stepped the leader of the hunters. He was taller than the rest, his armor black as midnight, his eyes burning blue. His voice was cold, ancient, human. "Step aside. The key is ours." The explorer raised his weapon, his voice calm but fierce. "Not while I breathe." The leader tilted his head, studying him. "You are nothing, a wanderer, alone. Why do you protect what is not yours?" The explorer's grip tightened. His eyes burned with defiance. "Because once I was lonely, and she reminded me of what I lost. No one should face the stars alone." The hunter hissed, raising his arm. Blue fire roared forward. The explorer dove, rolling to the side, firing his weapon. Red beams struck the ground, burning holes through the earth. The battle had begun. The mother shielded her daughter, hiding deeper in the cave. The child's glow brightened, reacting to the fight. The leader advanced, each step shaking the ground. His blade of light formed in his hand, crackling with energy. The explorer blocked with his weapon, sparks flying. The clash shook the cave walls. Stone cracked. Dust filled the air. The mother cried out, "You cannot defeat him, he is too strong." The explorer shouted back, his voice sharp, "Then we fight together." The girl stood, her small body trembling but her eyes blazing bright. She raised her hands. Light poured from her like a river, forming a shield between her mother and the hunter's fire. The leader hissed with delight. "Yes. The key awakens." The child's voice echoed, deeper, stronger. "I am not your key. I am my mother's daughter." The glow burst outward. The shield turned into a wave of energy blasting through the forest. Hunters stumbled and fell, their armor shattering. The leader staggered but did not fall. He growled, his voice furious. "You cannot control it. Without me, you will destroy yourself." The girl shook, her glow flickering. The power inside her threatened to burst. She screamed in pain. The explorer rushed forward, standing between her and the leader. He placed his hand on her shoulder, his voice steady. "You don't have to do this alone. Focus, breathe, I'm here." Her glow steadied. The wild storm of energy calmed, shaping itself into a beam of pure light. It shot forward, striking the leader. The hunter roared, his armor cracking, his blue eyes fading. He stumbled back, his body shaking under the force of her light. "No," he screamed. "She belongs to us." With one final burst, the girl's light exploded. The leader was consumed, his form dissolving into ash. The ship above cracked, engines screaming before vanishing into the night sky. Silence fell. The forest was broken, trees burned, ground torn. But the hunters were gone. The little girl collapsed again, her glow dimming. The mother caught her, holding her tight, tears streaming down her face. The explorer fell to his knees, his body shaking from exhaustion, but he smiled. They had survived. The mother looked at him, her eyes shining with gratitude. "You saved her. You saved us." The explorer shook his head slowly. "No. She saved herself. She just needed someone to believe in her." The villagers came from the shadows of the forest, their faces pale with awe. They had seen the light, the battle, the victory. For the first time, they did not look at the mother and child with fear, but with respect. One elder stepped forward, bowing his head. "We were wrong. Forgive us." The mother held her daughter close, silent tears falling. The little girl, weak but smiling, whispered softly, "See?" He stayed. The explorer felt a warmth in his chest. His lonely wandering had ended. He had found something worth protecting, something worth living for. The night sky cleared, the stars bright above them. And under their light, the explorer made his choice. He would no longer wander alone. He would stay, with the kindest mother, and the child who had changed his life with one strange question. "Are you lonely?" Then Mary, "My mom, she's kindest."